So thank you, Nicole, for giving me the opportunity to come here and speak tonight. I'm humbled and honored to stand up here in front of you all with the chance to share my story. The past few weeks, I've been contemplating what message I wanted to share. I kept telling myself, okay, Amanda, this is your story. It should be easy, but it wasn't. To be honest, it gave me a little anxiety. Like I was about to play a big volleyball match, just knowing I would be up here in front of you all and sharing my testimony. A testimony is personal and requires you to be vulnerable. I don't know about you, but vulnerability is outside of my comfort zone. But I have learned that when you're the most vulnerable, the most uncomfortable, that is when the Lord can do great work through you. You allow Him to shine His light, and that is such a beautiful thing to me. You see, God calls for us to step out of our comfort zones and to live for His purpose in our lives. So tonight, I am stepping out of my comfort zone, opening up to you about the adversity I have faced in my life, how it has affected me, and how I'm choosing to live today in response. My hope is that each one of you walks out of here tonight inspired and impacted for the better. So how many of you have faced some sort of adversity in your life, whether it be injury, tragedy, stress, illness? All right, so everyone in here. And through this adversity, did you experience setback or struggles? Yeah, I think we can all relate to this, especially as athletes. Adversity can appear in your life at very unexpected moments. These moments are simply out of your control. They are a part of life. How you choose to respond to these moments is, however, completely in your control. Your response is critical because your response will help lead you in a certain direction. The direction you go is your choice. These choices will continue to challenge you and define you as you go through life. That's part of the beauty of being human. You have the opportunity time and again to direct and redirect your path. It's really quite simple, but oftentimes we get so caught up in our own sorrow and frustration that our mindset can quickly become negative. It's easy to be negative. It's difficult to be positive. I'm going to say that again. It's easy to be negative. It requires conscious effort to be positive. Choosing to take the negative route will drain you. It may feel comfortable at first, but in the end, you will leave with an empty cup, feeling like you are stuck with nowhere to go. Choosing the positive route will take effort, deliberate practice, determination, but in return, people will take notice of how full your cup is and will wonder how it became so full. So the question I'm going to ask you tonight is, will you allow adversity in your life to fill you, or will it empty you? I am going to tell you a story of the adversity I have faced, how it has affected me, and how I've chosen to respond. This setback I'm about to share with you challenged the very core of who I am. It's July of 2012 in Lubbock, Texas. I am finishing up my senior year at Texas Tech University. I had recently returned from my first professional season in Germany to complete my undergraduate degree with the plan of pursuing a master's the following semester. I was about a month into this summer semester, enjoying my time as a regular student, when the unthinkable happened. I was in my car coming out of the doctor's office, and I got a phone call from my mom. And right when I picked up and heard her voice, I could sense something was wrong. And the first thing she asked me was, "Where are you and what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm driving, just got out of the doctor's office." And she was like, "Okay, well, I need you to go somewhere where you can park because I have something to tell you." And immediately, I felt that anxiety set in. Like, you know something's wrong. And I remember asking her, going through the list of my family, is Dad okay? Are my brothers okay? Ava, she's my niece, is she okay? Yes, they're okay. I'm like, okay, but I could still tell something wasn't right. So I finally get to a parking lot. I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm parked, what's up? And that's when she had told me that my sister-in-law and 2 nephews were all in a head-on collision and killed instantly. My initial reaction was just to scream no. I was in shock and disbelief, but my mom confirmed my worst fears. My oldest brother, Samuel, lost his whole family in a single moment. His pregnant wife, Elizabeth, and 3 sons, Fisher, who was 3, Benjamin, who was 18 months, and Hayes, who was still in the womb. After my mom had told me what happened, I somehow managed to get out of my car, despite the uncontrollable sobbing, to go find someone to help me. I remember walking into our rec center where we work out for the off season, finding a strength coach, and him helping me get to my coach's office across campus. Once I got in the office, I collapsed in the chair and tried to explain the situation. And the words felt so heavy coming out of my mouth. I didn't want to believe what I was saying. So my teammate, my coaches, helped pack a bag and get me on the next flight back home to Austin. That plane ride. The plane ride was surreal because I knew once those wheels touched ground, I would face my ridiculous reality. So many memories flooded me on that plane ride, as well as anxiety and fear. I didn't want to accept the reality that was being forced upon me. I remember trying to wrap my head around the tragic thought of having to bury not just one relative, but 4. I remember how heavy my heart was, not only for myself and my family, but my brother. So a lot had happened over the next few weeks, but there's 2 things that have really stuck with me. Once I landed in Austin, and getting to my brother's house, the first thing I did was get out of the car, run in there, find my brother, and hug him. And the sound of my brother weeping and mourning for his lost family is a sound that I'll never forget. And then also the funeral. I really struggled with the thought not only of having to bury my relatives, but how small those caskets would have to be. But at the funeral, my dad got up in front of everyone and shared a message. And his message was this: relationships are the most important part of life. Our time on earth is far too short not to pour love into one another. And although the tragedy of what just happened emptied our cups completely, and at times made us feel like they were gone altogether, with God's help and help from each other, we were able to begin slowly healing. And don't get me wrong, the accident took a heavy toll on all of us. I remember being angry with God and wondering why bad things happen to good people. But what I didn't realize at the time is that even in the midst of crippling pain and suffering, God can reveal himself in the most profound way. The Bible says in 1 James verses 2-4, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Through the accident, I found perseverance. And as I persevered through the hard times, I began to find my purpose. This is where beach volleyball became my outlet. And as I look back on my dad's message, I realized it could become my platform. No matter what trial you are going through, I want you to realize there's always a choice you can make. For me and my family, we chose to come together. And in my beach volleyball career, I have chosen to inspire others with my message as I pursue my dreams. I want to encourage you to give your hardships to God and allow Him to work them together for His good in your life. I can promise you that if you do this, He will fill your cup to overflowing. And today, 4 years after the accident, my brother is living proof of God's grace. He chose not to allow bitterness and anger to consume him. Instead, he let God use the tragedy for something good. He since has remarried an amazing woman and is beginning to rebuild his family with a new baby on the way that's due early next year. His story is still being written, just like the rest of ours. So remember that the choice is always yours. Thank you.